All right, before I continue, I want to use this opportunity to thank all of you who have been watching my videos on YouTube. Thank you so much, and may God bless you. And I pray that you get one thing from my message that will be able to help you out in your day-to-day activities. I want to use this opportunity to tell you that my post on YouTube is not for personal gain. So it's not about you going there to subscribe, all right? My joy and my personal gain is going to be that you find something, one thing in my post or in my videos that will help you in your day-to-day life. All right, so that's my point. But although I'm also going to encourage you to subscribe so that when we have new videos, you'll be able to get notified and then you follow us up. In my previous last video, I talked about simple prayers that works, and then the simple prayers that works, we talk about you converting your gossip time with God, gossip time into prayers, convert your gossip into prayers, your gossip mate, make God your gossip mate, your chat mate, make God your chat mate, and all that. So we discussed all that, and then I think the video is there. You can check on the YouTube page, you will get it. So I also come across something, all right, very important about prayers again that I still want us to learn to talk about. I've come across posts, all right, and teachings that talks about lengthy prayers, long prayers, like 2 hours, 3 hours, prayers, and then they said this longer prayers bring fast result. I want to tell you here and now that anybody who will tell you that you pray for 3 hours to get a fast result, that person is only practicing witchcraft, not prayers. Because this is how prayer works. For example, you have 10 bags of problems. These 10 bags of problems do not just come and enter 10 bags in one day. They are problems that you have allowed to accumulate. Alright, this problem has been there one after the other. You allow them to accumulate, until it's not too heavy for you to carry. It becomes 10 bags, and then you want to pray one day. You want to use the whole day, 24 hours to pray for that problems to go. It doesn't work that way. What you need to do is a consistent prayer, a consistent relationship with God. When you are a friend with God, alright, when God is your friend, you don't need all these prayers, all these lengthy prayers for God to answer you. If you have 10 bags of problems, let me tell you what you need to do. You need to start looking for a way to pray 11 bags of prayers. If you have 11 bags of prayers and 10 bags of problems, the 11 bags of prayers will do what? Will quench the 10 bags of problems that you have. And how you do the 11 bags of prayer is you don't pray it one day. You have to keep praying. It's a consistent thing. Now, this one I want to show you. Now, look at my hands. See how open it is. This is what you are praying for. This is your miracle. This is your God. And then this is you. So anytime you pray, this is what happens. This is your finger now. This to you. You move closer. Alright, for example, this is where God stands, and this is where what you're praying for stands. So anytime you pray, this is what happens. Anytime you pray, this is what happens. Anytime you pray, this is what happens. That means anytime you pray, you draw closer to what you're praying for. You draw closer to God. You keep going until you do what? You clip with God. And then when you clip with God, nothing can take it again except you, if you decide to go back again. So if that's the position, and then somebody tell you to pray for 10 hours, that 10 hours you're praying, look at what happened. 10 hours. Another 10 hours. The same thing as someone who just come and pray for 5 seconds. 5 seconds. 5 seconds. So that's it. So what am I trying to say is that you don't need all these lengthy prayers for fast result. You don't need fast result. Alright? All you need. I'm so sorry, you're going to be hearing a lot of background noise, alright? My neighbors and all that. I can't go to the home and tell them to stop. Alright? So, what I'm trying to say is that you don't need 2-3 hours prayers for God to answer you for a fast result. When you're praying for fast result, you are practicing witchcraft, not God. You need to have personal relationship with God before your prayers can be answered. So this thing, so I also found that the proponent of that teaching, of that lengthy prayers, came out from, when Jesus Christ was telling his disciples that you cannot wait for me for even an hour. All right, when Jesus Christ went to pray in the mountains, and then when he came back, the disciples were already sleeping. And then Jesus Christ asked them, you cannot even wait for me for an hour, you're already sleeping. So that all these teachings came from that. The religious people took out this point and said, okay, you need to pray for hours for God to answer you. But I'm telling you here and now that it is wrong. So let's read forward. Do you also know that Jesus Christ himself, all right, discouraged lengthy prayers? He described it as what? Let's see. In Matthew chapter 6, verse 7, Jesus described these lengthy prayers as meaningless repetitions of words that do not get God's attentions. Go and read the book of Matthew chapter 6, verse 7. Just keep reading it. You understand why he said he called these lengthy prayers meaningless repetitions of words that do not get God's attentions. So the prayer you need is just a very simple prayer. You don't need to stress yourself about prayers. The reason why people say they don't know how to pray is because they have been made to believe that there's a certain prayers you can make for God to answer you, and there's a certain prayers you put out that you get fast result. God doesn't work that way. God is looking for a friendship. God is looking for a friend. God is looking for consistency. Somebody who will start with him and continue with him all the way. Not somebody who will start with him and be looking for something. Once that thing comes, the person goes back. God is not a fool. God is not a fool. Alright, so listen to me. Jesus, praise the Lord. Sorry about that noise. Alright, my neighbors. So you don't need all this kind of prayers. You don't need it. When you want fast results, you're only practicing witchcraft. God is looking for friendship. God is looking for consistency. God is looking for someone who will continue with him and who will start with him, continue with him, and move with him. If, for example, if you have a wife and you don't treat your wife very well, you don't take care of your wife, all right, and then you only remember your wife when you want to have sex, and you go to her to touch her, that woman has every right to resist you because you were not there. You have not been there for her. You only come to her when you want her body. That's how God operates. You cannot just come to God when you want result, when you want fast result, and you start talking to God to do it for you. God will not answer you. God is looking for a friend. If you're not a friend of God with consistency, God will not answer your prayer. Whatever you get, if you think you're praying, whatever result you get is witchcrafting. Go and ask a pastor what he has done to get that result for you. It's not of God. All right. So I just said something. I said Jesus Christ discouraged these lengthy prayers. He described it as meaningless repetitions of words that do not necessarily get God's attention. Jesus Christ teaches his disciples, or taught his disciples, how to pray. Now, if you look at the prayers that Jesus Christ teach, he taught us how to pray. The Lord's Prayer, very simple. All right. So let me ask you a question as a Christian now. Do we now pick the longer time, all right, of prayers as taught by men, or that which is taught by the Lord of heavens and the earth? Is a question. Listen, I believe that our period of time in prayers should be determined by the intensity of the need for the prayers. Praise the Lord. That's how it is. So the need for your prayers determine the time. You can decide to worship your God for 3 hours, for 5 hours is accepted. It's fine. Praise the Lord. In all this, I think It depends on how you define prayers and what you understand about prayers. Let me ask you, in that 4 hours of prayers, what will you be saying? Repetitions of words? To me, I think that prayers should be a smooth communication with God, your Maker. And such prayer can take an hour less or more. Praise the Lord. You can spend 4 hours saying nothing at all. In conclusion, I want to read something. Jesus Christ taught us how to pray in Matthew 6 verse 9 to 13. The question is, in all that prayers, the whole total hours of prayers Jesus Christ taught us, how many hours was it? 4 hours or just a minute? Please make God your friend. Create a personal relationship with God. Start with God, continue with God, be a friend of God, and when you ask for anything, God do it. If you are a friend of God, you don't even need to ask much. God, look at this thing, God will do it. God, I want this, God will bring it to you. That's how God works. So what God is looking for a friend that will start with Him, continue with Him, and end with Him. God is looking for God is looking for a good friend. Praise the Lord. Devil is a liar. God is looking for consistency. All right, not this thing we believe that you have to pray for 10 hours for God to answer your prayers. God bless you. Thank you so much for watching this video. God bless you. Please watch and share. All right. Thank you.